Hi everybody, welcome to our game day edition of Weekly Huddle for Steelers Nation Unite members. I'm Missy Matthews of Steelers.com. These two gentlemen, I don't think they need much of an introduction, but we are so thankful to Lynn Swann and John Stallworth for being here with us today. We really want to invite some of the fans who may not get to be here for the game tonight, but to maybe ask you some questions. So thanks for taking so much time.
No problem.
I'm Lynn Swann, by the way. For the younger fans out there.
And I'm the tall one.
Thank you.
Had to rub it in, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to some questions because we have plenty of them. The first one is from Wake Up Barry. This is from Twitter. He said, did you gentlemen get a chance to pick your jersey numbers? And if so, what was the reason for your choices?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
When we came into the league in '74, the NFL had just passed a rule. You had to wear a number according to the position you played, and wide receivers were an 80 series number. I was 22 in college, and so I wanted 22.
Right.
I had 22 in the preseason, and then Tony Parisi and Jackie Hart, the equipment guy, said, you got to pick a different number. I said, I don't care, pick a number. So one of the guys said, well, you wore 22, so take 88, double 2, double 8s. I was 88.
Well, I was 22 in college, and I wanted 22. But Lynn was a first-round draft choice, and I was a fourth-round draft choice. So he got his choice with the numbers in preseason. But as he said, the rule changed, and I ended up with 82, and for no particular reason other than it was available.
The 2 was in.
Oh.
There you go. Okay, next one. This is from Matthew Hughes, and you both can answer this one. He wants to know, do you have a favorite musician, artist, or band?
Favorite musician, artist, or band? I listen to a lot of different music. I think probably right now, Beyonce. I like most of her music.
Okay.
I wish she'd do a little more up-tempo work so I could have it on my playlist when I'm working out. But it worked out okay.
I like Kenny G. I just like the soothing tone of his music, and so I like it. Well, it's not real hard jazz. It's kind of in the middle of it, but I like him, and I listen to a lot of gospel music also.
Doesn't Kenny G have a good Christmas album? Or am I making that up?
Kenny G
Yeah.
has a great.
I was going to say, I think I've definitely heard that one.
I know Kenny G holds a long note when he's playing the clarinet or,
Very cool. All right, our next one, this is from Larry D. Said, what was the greatest thing that your career gave you, the chance to experience that maybe you wouldn't have?
depositing more checks in the bank. I don't know. I think there are a lot of opportunities that opened up. I think one of the great things about having played when we did was that in the off season before there were OTAs and all these kinds of things, I had an opportunity to do a lot of different things, travel, experience different things, decide on what you wanted to do after football was over, and be able to commit yourself to a process. So during my off season, I had a chance to travel, but I also had a chance to start working in broadcasting. So when I retired from football, I retired to take a job in broadcasting, and 9 years in professional football, 30 years in broadcasting.
There you go.
Yeah. For me, it was an opportunity to meet a lot of different folks, and that was important to me. I came from a small school in a small town growing up, and I got a chance to meet folks from different parts of the country, from different walks of life, and have that experience. I tell folks now that one of the greatest growth experiences I had was my 14 years in Pittsburgh. I got a chance to meet Lynn Swann. and the guys I played with, guys that were great and for different reasons, intangible reasons. I got the chance to associate with a guy like Rocky Blyer and Rocky's commitment to being the best he could possibly be, Joe Green and Joe's leadership ability. A lot of guys, Jack Lambert's intensity on the field. Everyone I met had some endearing quality that I tried to incorporate to make a part of my own personality. So just meeting those folks was great.
Very good. All right, let's get to some more questions. This one, let's see, we're going to scroll up.
You didn't like that question.
Well, no, there's a ton of them. We already answered that one. Okay, let's go. This is from Beat the Colts. His question is, thank you guys for answering our questions tonight. What are your predictions for tonight's game?
I always predict the Steelers win. in my heart. And you start there. Having been in that locker room for a number of years and understanding what it takes to play this game and what your mindset has to be, I think every time they walk onto the field, they're looking to win. And even when the people outside the team and the odds makers and people are picking, every player walks in the field figuring out how they can win regardless of what everybody else says. And so I give them that opportunity to go win. I'm a fan. I don't have to broadcast football anymore. I'm not doing anything professionally in the world of sports, the competitive side, where I have to pick a side. So I always pick my home team.
There you go. What about you?
I am a homer. And,
That's okay.
And I've always
Take
been
it.
one. So a Steeler win, no matter the conditions, no matter the team they're playing, a Steeler win always is my prediction. I look for better things from our defense. I want them to improve. I think they have the talent there to improve. I think they have the talent on the team to be a great defense, and they need to go through a few things and maybe add a person here or there. But I look for better things from our defense. If we can do that, then we're gonna see great things this season.
Last year when the Colts and Steelers got together, Steelers put up 51 points. Do you guys like when you see high offensive performances?
No, I just get jealous. Antonio Brown's a tremendous receiver, great talent for the team and in the league. But when you see these numbers and you hear people talking about, they targeted him 15 times in the game, and he caught X number of passes. I remember sometimes we didn't even throw 15 times in the game. And then they target somebody for 15. Now, that would have been a problem in our game if they had targeted me for 15 passes, because John would not be happy.
I've had a big problem.
And John would have a big problem, and I'd have a big problem if they targeted John for 15
There you
passes.
go.
So, but when I see the guys out there playing and throwing the ball a lot, I'm happy for them. It's exciting to watch the plays. It's exciting to see guys make plays. And so I guess from that standpoint, the entertainment standpoint, that's fine. From a competitive standpoint, when someone targets you that many times, there's a high level of expectation I have, and I think John has, that you do more with it. And if they're going to target you 15 times, our thinking in our days is you better catch 14. Brad Job might throw you the 16th pass.
I learned to appreciate defense. I'm an offensive player. I
Right.
love offense, love high scores, but I appreciate a good defensive ball game. And I learned that appreciation watching our guys on the field, the Joe Greens, the Lamberts, the Hams, the Blunts, and all those guys play and then excel and shut people down. I like that. I think that's winning football. I think in the long run, it's great to score 51 points, but in the end, I think if you're going to win a championship, you're going to have to play good, solid defense, and I like seeing that. And I like seeing that in Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. I think Steelers fans would agree with that one. Our next question is from Mandy. She wants to know your favorite Christmas movie and why.
Favorite Christmas movie?
Put the thinking caps on for this one.
Oh, man. Let me see. I'm trying to think. Christmas movie.
Well, my favorite, and I'm sure my age, it's A Wonderful Life. And,
That's okay.
Because a guy gets an opportunity to see what life would be without him being there. And I think you leave, if you watch that movie and you watch it with any degree of sincerity, you realize that everybody here has an effect on the people around them. And he got a chance to see that and live that. And it changed his life. It changed his outlook on things. And I think if we all could appreciate this life and the people around us, our sphere of influence, if you will, and what we do for them and how we can change them and make them better, I think the world might be a little bit better.
Yeah. I would pick A Wonderful Life, but since John picked it out, I'll give you my second choice.
Just to be different.
I don't know. Maybe The Grinch That Stole Christmas.
Okay.
It's entertaining. It's fun. But I mean, I think when you look at it, and if you want to talk about the subtext of the show, here's a guy who's isolated. We talk about bullying these days. You talk about being more inclusive and things of that nature. And it kind of teaches kids and people who watch it in a way to be more inclusive, to embrace the differences and not just go for the things that are easy and all the same. All
right. I like it. Our next question is from Heather. She wants to know if you could have played another position, what would you choose and why?
Owner.
That's a good one.
And the reasons are obvious. Probably, no. I wouldn't choose another position. I like being a wide receiver. I don't like contact. I don't want to be on defense. I don't want to tackle anybody. I guess the only other position I could have chosen would be quarterback.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't have changed my position. The opportunity to make a big play, to make a big splash, to be a big factor in big games, I think comes from being a wide receiver. I guess you would see a big run every now and again from a running back, and he'd go 20 yards or 30 yards. But guys at wide receiver, we can affect the game in one play. I mean, Lynn in the Super Bowl, some of my Super Bowl catches, that's the kind of splash that I like to make, and we both like to make. And that's what that and more than anything is what we competed for, the opportunity to come up with a big play during our time with the Steelers. And I don't think there's another position on the field that get an opportunity to do that. Besides that, we are the most talented people on the field.
Just saying.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, again, if you go back to the number of passes we threw back in the day we played, not that many, we had a nickname for ourselves. We referred to ourselves, or the wide receivers, as the game breakers, because we weren't going to throw the ball that much. And so if you did throw the ball, you had to do something with it.
Right.
You had to make it worthwhile because, number one, we're coming across the middle and we're getting hit. I mean, really hit. Okay? If they're going to throw it deep, we got to make the catch. Didn't matter whether it was high or low, or a little bit to the right, or a little bit to the left. The expectation was we were going to make that catch, and we're going to break open the game and do something aside from freeing up Franco to run the ball more.
Right.
And so we referred to ourselves as the game breakers, and that was a mindset we had every time we went onto the football field.
Don't have to sell me on that one. That was a good one. Okay.
Joe Green referred to us as China's owls.
China.
Delicate people that were.
This next question is from KC. Wants to know, what's the best advice you were given prior to playing, and what do you want to stress to today's players?
Prior to playing
For
in
the
high school
Steelers?
or
And
Steelers?
for the Steelers.
It wasn't so much advice. A guy looked at my film, John, when I was in college, and he asked me a simple question. He said, why is it that you don't make a play in big ball games? I said, well, that's not true. I make a play all the time. He goes, no, you don't. So I went back and looked at the film. And it wasn't that I didn't make a play. I didn't make a big play. I call it passive. They didn't break a tackle and go for extra yards, or they do that kind of thing. And so I looked at it, and it was kind of like, okay, if you give me the information, you show me the fact, and you confront me with what the reality is, now it gives me a chance to change it, because now I have to agree and come to that position. I am not making a big enough play. So I've got to change something. And it wasn't that I changed my game, but it was that I changed my focus on how I played the game and the intensity of my game. And it made a huge difference for me kind of moving forward. And so that was probably, this guy named was Wayne Hughes, started a little business in Southern California called Public Storage, way back in the day. Very successful guy. And that made a huge difference for me.
Kind of that aha moment.
Kind of that aha moment with an exclamation mark.
Very cool. What about you?
Just leave it at that.
What about advice for players, I guess, is the other part of the question for today's players? Best advice you can give, just from your experience and what you've learned.
And it's something that I guess we've all heard from time to time, is that don't get too high with the highs or too low with the lows. Try to maintain an even keel with the best of situations. If you look back on our years, and there were a couple of years, a couple of times that we repeated. And I think a great thing about Chuck Noll was he was able to keep us centered on what we had to do today. You see a lot of teams that go to Super Bowl once and they never get back there again, or maybe get back there years later. It's intense the second year when you win and people know that you're coming. And if you start to think about what you did last year and how you did it, and that big catch you made in the Super Bowl, then you sort of lose the focus that you need to have today to win that game today. And so we stayed away from what we did last year. We stayed on a pretty even keel. And if we got too high, we had guys on the team that would knock you down and smile about it. But I think we were able to maintain that even keel.
wants to know, how scared were opponents of Mean Joe?
Well, if they weren't, then they were foolish not to be. I mean, Joe was a very intense player, very focused guy, and Joe was a very fair guy. Joe played the game with great intensity, he was going after it. But, you know, if you did something to Joe, and Joe would warn you, Joe would tell you, stop doing that. You know, and then Joe would tell the referee, tell him to stop doing that. Can't you see what he's doing? He shouldn't be holding. And if it kept going on, Joe was could be a little bit of a vigilante, you know, back in Texas in the old days, you know, that would be Joe. And there would be retribution.
Yeah, but there's a side to Joe that people I don't think saw. You know, it was the Mean Joe great thing that people saw mostly in his leadership ability. But we had some great times in the locker room after practice, and we had a running battle with the defensive line. We, the offense, receivers, little tiny receivers, China dolls, and, you know, we'd corner one of them, 5 against 1, and we win those battles. You know, of course, they pay us back later on.
I'm sure.
But that was a side. That was a let your hair down, relax side of Joe Green that endeared him to a lot of us. More so than the Mean Joe Green, and more so than the leadership. That was a really neat side to him. And, Joe's a good guy.
Yeah, but we were so afraid of Joe, we wouldn't tell him about how good he was.
Keep him angry, right?
Yeah, he wanted that reputation.
Yeah, he didn't want to.
All right, our next question is from James. Wants to know, what rivalry things did you two get into in the locker room? I hear ping pong is big for them.
Rivalry things.
Like any games? Did you play cards? Anything like that?
We played poker on Tuesdays.
Okay.
John used to come,
I didn't play.
but he didn't play. He'd come to eat.
Smart.
I was the 4th round damn shows. I didn't have as money as the 1st round damn shows. I didn't have any money to lose. But yeah. But we played poker. We had some little what we call tip games that we played in the locker room. It's just balancing the ball, tip drill. We played among the receivers and who keep the ball alive and all this and little things like that. But that's about it.
Yeah, we didn't have a rec room.
Yeah, there you
Ping
go.
pong table.
Made your own fun, right? All right, this next question is from Rob. Wants to know what it was like to play for Coach John.
You know, it was great. You know, Chuck was a teacher, and Chuck's system was he really coached the assistant coaches. And you look at the number of coaches that we had under Chuck Noll who went on to have great success and continued coaching. Tom Moore, you know, who worked with Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy became an assistant here. George Perlis, who went on to coach Michigan State. You know, Willie Woodenhofer, Bud Carson. All these guys who had tremendous careers outside of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that was one. Two, Chuck expected me to be a professional, and he didn't want to, you know, be a policeman. He didn't want to have to watch you every minute. He expected you to be on time. He expected you to be early so that you could be on time. He expected you to be able to get yourself up for a football game because you were paid professionals. You weren't kids just out running around. It wasn't his job to get you fired up to play football. If you couldn't get fired up to play 1 game a week, 14 games in a season, you know, maybe those were the teams you should play for. And so I had great respect for Chuck and the way he went about his business. It was a tremendous 9 years for me under Chuck Noll in the system.
Chuck wasn't going to praise you a whole lot. You know, he wasn't going to say, get really high on what you did and what it looked like or anything like that. It was a good job. It was, and maybe an occasional outstanding, but it wasn't going to be a very flowery thing. I think we grew to appreciate that part of him. And I know for myself, when I got that praise, that occasional praise, it made me feel good about what I just did.
Right.
And so, and I think that was throughout our team. Certainly Chuck's what he seemed to be to most folks out there, and what was written about him in the papers and in books and what have you, was he was this very aloof kind of guy. But there was a personal side to him. There was a side to him that it made it very difficult, I think, in the latter years of our time in the Steelers, for him to make decisions and personnel decisions about it was time for this guy to go or this guy to go, because he was attached to folks. Now, folks probably never saw that. But sort of that latter time, my time here, which And I was here a few years after Lynn. I started to see that Lynn was gone, Lamb was starting to go, Joe Green's gone, Brashaw's gone away. So I saw what he had to go through, or what he went through in making those personnel decisions, and it wasn't as easy for him as folks might think.
Gotcha. Okay, this is going to be our final question for tonight. What is your greatest memory of the Chief?
Boy,
Probably a lot.
well, there's an image. You know, when you would come out in, Three Rivers Stadium, and you'd be out there practicing, and you might be at the far end, and you'd be running around, and you'd take a deep breath, and you could smell that cigar smoke in the air, and you turn around, and he'd be at the far end of the field. He'd be right at the tunnel or something, and he'd have that cigar in his mouth, and it wasn't always lit. Sometimes you just kind of chewed on it, but it was there. But you walked up and you talked to the Chief, and every day was a good day for the Chief.
Mm-hmm.
Every day was a good day. Every day he came into the stadium, he walked around the locker room, said hello to all the players. Yeah, I mean, he walked around everybody's locker, shook their hands, say hello, how you doing? The way he ran the organization, the way he set things up, you appreciate it over a period of time, especially when you talk to other players and other teams and how things are going in their locker room, or what they did for the players, or what they didn't do for the players. And Chief was that guy who always had the respect, because he respected everyone. You heard the stories about the Chief where, he would take a member of the ground crew on the plane, a couple of guys every game in the weight room. Take the guys who were cleaning stadium seats and artificial turf and hitting the lines. He'd take them to a game every week, every weekend. And then sometimes he'd come see them down in Florida at one of the racetracks at the family home. And that guy in the field could be sitting next to a U.S. Senator, and Art Rooney would never say, "Hey, Senator so-and-so, this is so-and-so who works in the ground crew." It would always be, "Senator, this is Mr. So-and-so, who's part of our staff." That kind of respect. And so that's what I think of when I think of the Chief. And, we've had 4 Super Bowl wins and great moments of great individual play. One of the great moments of the first Super Bowl, being in that locker room, not all the media, hoopla, not grandstand on the field. There's Pete Rozelle having the trophy to Art Rooney, and after 40 years,
Right.
in Pittsburgh,
Got it.
the first Super Bowl ring, he's got to give somebody a trophy. It's a great one.
It is. And just to maybe continue that a little bit, my memory of him is, again, walking through the locker room, but what he said to us, he never spoke to me about football. He spoke to me about how was my family, and he'd know the names, and he'd call them by names, and he did that for everybody. I think he was a believer in people, in the positive, in the power of having a positive attitude. And I think he sort of gave me that. He made us believe that we were not just a number to him, that we were people, and we were, as Lynn said, part of the organization, part of the team. I think when people believe that in any team, whether it's business or whether that's in athletics, when people believe that, they can do amazing things. They will show you amazing stuff. We started a business after I left Pittsburgh, and we grew that business, and we eventually sold that business and made at least some money on that. But our philosophy.
Just saying.
Our philosophy.
John is modest, and I'll leave it at that.
But our philosophy with that business is that we wanted people to be able to come to work every day and know that they were going to be in an environment where they were respected, and they were going to be around people that they respected. And that's what I wanted to pitch. That's what I wanted to have there with my company. And I got that from my time with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and primarily from my group.
Lifelong lessons, as you said. It takes to send his football and everything. All right, well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Thanks, everybody from Steelers Nation Unite, for being here with us tonight for our first Game Day Weekly Huddle. We hope you enjoyed yourselves, and go Steelers.
Those Steelers.